Faith and reason. So we're back to continue talking about faith. If you remember from the last video, which I hope you find this topic interesting, right? So if you remember the last video, we were talking about how faith, when we're using it in a normal, like secular, non-religious sense, whenever we use the word faith, we're talking about obtaining some kind of knowledge through a witness. But the point I really wanted to make in the last video is that it is actual knowledge, like it's facts that we obtain through the witness of someone else. And in that moment, they extend our knowledge, right? Like it's an extension of our knowledge beyond what it could normally grasp. The example I used last week that I kind of want to pick up and play with a little bit more this week is that bathroom at St. Peter's, right? I told you there's a bathroom in the very back of St. Peter's. Underneath the throne of St. Peter is a, quote unquote throne itself, like the bathroom, right? And not many people know about it. Yeah, it's not accessible to the public, but I'm telling you it's there. I've seen it myself. And so if you believe me, if you have faith in me, if you trust me, your knowledge has just extended to this kind of useless fact. But it is a real fact, and you have it. And so that's what I wanted to demonstrate in the last video. It's a real knowledge, and it's an extension of your own mind. Now, today's topic, remember I said I want to kind of cover this in 3 different blocks. I want to talk about how faith is certain, and it does not doubt. Now, that's going to be kind of controversial. And remember, I said I want to talk a lot about the whole God thing in the 3rd video. In this video, I kind of want to cover what we mean in the secular sense still, but I think it will apply to God. But Thomas Aquinas, when he's talking about faith in any situation, believing somebody, trusting somebody, he says that it's always certain, right? He says it's not an opinion and it's not probability. Right? Now, probability, I want to talk about probability because last semester a student brought up that it seems like everything we're talking about is just probability. But, so the fact that faith is certain, right? So like, for instance, let's say I told you this fact about the bathroom, right? There is a bathroom in St. Peter's. I've told you this. If, like, after I told you that, I saw you, like, walking in the hall with somebody, because this is post-COVID times and we're back at school, but you're walking in the hall with somebody and I hear them say, like, oh, what did Mr. Tennell tell you today? And you say, he said that there's a bathroom at St. Peter's, so there might be one, right? Let's say you said there might be one. Or let's say you even said there's probably one, right? If I heard you say that, I'd stop you and be like, hey, you don't believe me, right? Because when I give you a fact, if you trust me, I want you to 100% accept it. There's no kind of like middle ground. If you say you believe me, then you accept it. If you said you didn't, you said maybe there is or there probably is, I would immediately be like, oh, what, you don't trust me, right? Because trust wants 100% assent, right? And that's in all moments in which we trust somebody, someone asks us to trust them or have faith in them. Right? So if if I asked you, is your mom a Russian spy sent to kill you? And you said she's probably not, it'd probably hurt her feelings if she was standing next to you and be like, what, you don't trust me? And if you're like, no, like there's a 90% probability that you're not a Russian spy sent to kill me. She'd be like, oh no, I'm telling you, I'm not a Russian spy sent to kill you. You should believe me. And by her wanting you to believe you, it once again has to be 100% assent. So that in your own heart, in your own mind, you believe and are certain that this is a fact. There is a bathroom. If you trust me, if you believe me, you in your own heart or mind or brain or whatever you want to say, 100% believe this fact. If you don't believe it 100%, then you don't trust me. Right now, I'm not getting my feelings hurt about that, but I'm just trying to demonstrate this aspect of faith. Whenever you ask somebody to have faith in you, you want them to be certain that what you said is true. Right? If you told someone like, hey, I'll meet you at at a party or I'll meet you at the school or whatever, trust me, right? You would want them to, without a doubt, think that you're going to be there. Now, once again, this can all seem nitpicky, but it is just important because it shows the difference between what we hold by faith or what we hold by opinion. Because whenever I have an opinion, right? Like I have an opinion like, it is my opinion that you should wear a mask when you go out to the grocery store, right? Because it seems like it's best to prevent the spread of coronavirus. I'm pretty sure that's right, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know how coronavirus works. I don't know how masks work. I don't know if masks might make it more dangerous because you cough and then you touch it and then you touch other things. I have no idea, right? But it seems to me like it's pointing definitely in the direction that you should wear a mask. But if a medical doctor was to show me some kind of fact, I would be easily swayed to the other side, right? That's a random example. I hope that's not over politicized. I haven't read the news. But so what I'm saying here is I'm leaning heavy in one way. But I do have this area of my mind that's like, it could be that way, right? So I wouldn't say I'm certain that you should wear a mask. I would say that it's my opinion that that's probably the best plan. And that's the thing about probability, right? Probability and opinion always leave room for the other side to be correct. Whereas, if I tell you that there's a bathroom at St. Peter's and you said there probably is, that means you don't trust me because I'm telling you, no, it's 100%. I've seen it. I've touched it, right? I didn't go to the bathroom there, but I did sit on it with my pants on just to make sure I could say I sat on it. So I've been there. It's concrete. I know it's real. And if you said it's probably real, you said it in your opinion it's real. In those situations, you're leaving room for error. And I'm like, there is no error. I've seen it. Just this, I'm trying to think, this is a candle that I'm holding with St. Faustina on it, right? It's a candle. I'm 100% certain. There's no opinion. There's no room for doubt. I know as a fact that this is a candle. If you have faith in somebody, then you're saying that I'm certain of this. Anything that's not certain is either probability or opinion. I'm not saying probability and opinion are bad. There are plenty of people that I don't fully trust, but I think it's probable, right? I don't trust necessarily my waiter at a restaurant, that he's not spitting in my food or putting his fingers in my food or dropping it and putting it up. I don't absolutely trust him, right? Because I don't know him. I don't know who he is, but I just know that it's probably not going to happen. He seems like a normal guy, or she seems like a normal girl. They're employed here. If they got caught doing that, they get fired. They get in trouble with the law. So the reason, and they have no real reason to do it. So it seems like the probability of them messing with my food is so low that I don't have to worry about it, right? So I would say it's different than someone I trust, which, I don't calculate it with someone I trust. I'm certain that they wouldn't mess with my food. There, I think it's probability. So I think there are circumstances which you use probability. There are circumstances which you use opinion, and they're great. But there are circumstances in which you're certain, right? Anything you learn through your own experience, you're certain of. In faith, if you're learning through a witness's experience, you have to be certain. And there's no room for doubt. Now, what I will end this video with here, because I think this is important, and once again, when we get to God, I'll do a lot of cleanup here. But Thomas Aquinas says there's a difference between a difficulty and a doubt, right? There's a difference between doubting something and having a difficult time with it. And the story I want to kind of use with this, I've shared it with other classes. I don't think I've done it in your class, so I'm sorry if I have. But when I was little, 10 years old, it was my job to feed the dogs at our house. And, I had a big backyard, and the back of our backyard where the dog pen was kind of like a wooded area. It was out in the woods. And so I would always, for whatever reason, put off feeding the dogs until nighttime. And, like any 10-year-old maybe, or maybe I was just a scaredy cat, I would be like, oh no, why did I do this? Because it's dark out there. I don't want to go out in the woods to feed the dogs at night by myself. I'd be scared, right? And so I would tell my stepdad, because he'd be like, oh, you got to go feed the dogs. I tell my stepdad oh, I can't go out there. I'm scared. I can't do it. And then he would give me a flashlight and he would say, it's okay. I'm going to be standing on the porch so I can see you and I won't go away. So you go feed them, and I will be standing here making sure everything's okay so you don't have to worry. Very nice of him. So he would say that, and then I would just, boom, I would just sprint. You'd see the little flashlight, the light bobbing in the air, as I ran to the, the dog pen. I'd run to the dog pen, I'd start feeding the dogs as fast as I could so I could run back. Now, what's interesting is there became a moment, right? Right when I got to the dog pen, there was a little small teeny hill in our backyard where I couldn't see my porch anymore. So my stepdad told me he's there. I'm at a point with the dog bowls where I can't see him anymore. Now, if I believe him, I would say he is there. I know he's there, right? He told me he's there. I trust him. He's there. So I know the fact. If anybody told me, if some guy popped out of the woods after I, screamed and he's like, where's your stepdad? I'd be like, he's on the porch. I know that for a fact. I'm certain. The problem here, though, is because I was scared, when I got to that point, fear would hit me. when I couldn't see him anymore, I would get scared. And it would become a moment where it would be difficult to have that knowledge that he's there comfort me because I can't see him. And so while I might know he's there, I feel scared. And that moment is when, you would try to have your faith, the thing kind of move the fear away, right? I would say he's there, there's no reason to be afraid. But I would still feel afraid. And the point of this is to say, feeling afraid is not the same as doubting the fact that he's there, right? I could be petrified, right? And I could lock up with fear. That doesn't mean I stopped believing he was there. It means my fear overwhelmed me. I had a difficulty that overwhelmed me. And so there's this great quote from a theologian named St. John Henry Newman. He was just named a saint, where he said, 1,000 difficulties don't make one doubt. I think he probably said does not make one doubt. 1,000 difficulties doesn't make one doubt, right? So there's a difference between saying, I don't believe my stepdad anymore. Now, fear sometimes does that to you, right? Sometimes emotions do that. You know something, but you get so overwhelmed that it causes you to change your mind or doubt somebody. But the point I'm trying to make here is there's a difference between doubting and having a difficulty. And that becomes important for when you think of you trust somebody, but you have a hard time for whatever reason, because of some emotional situation or something. That doesn't mean you lose faith in them. When you lose faith in them is when you say, I no longer believe them, right? Having a hard time, letting that knowledge control your emotions is different than doubting someone. So I just think that's really important. So the thing I wanted to bring up first time, faith brings knowledge, and it's an extension of your mind. This time, faith is certain. If you say you have faith in somebody, if you say you trust somebody, that means you are certain. You're not probable. You're not bringing up an opinion, but you're certain, right? And there's a difference between difficulty and doubts. And so tomorrow we'll clean it up. We'll finish up, or not tomorrow, but whenever I make this next video, and we'll talk about faith, the last aspect of faith I want to look at, and its relationship with God. All right, guys. God bless. Hope that puzzle thing is okay, and I hope y'all are all doing good.